Unreal.
What are you munching on though? For real? What are you munching?
Pistachios.
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah, I'm fucking starving. I literally just stepped in the door like 20 minutes ago.
Chris,
so after I'm done.
Thank you so much, man, for being here, dude.
Yeah, of course. So what's up?
Yeah, man. So Austin says that you live in Hawaii.
I do.
Not even just you live in Hawaii. You're an officer in Hawaii.
Deputy. Yeah.
Okay. Like, is that like one of the easiest jobs to ever do? Because you're just in Hawaii? Like,
has its moments. I mean, yeah. It has its moments, but I've had easier jobs, but
okay.
It has its moments, yes.
I know being an officer is obviously got to be pretty difficult, but just there's places like out here, when you like talk to the cops, they're like, man, like we just had to like take a drunk guy and just put him over the bridge and whatever. We're gonna go have coffee now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get that, like, there are days when I get punched, slapped, kicked in the face, whatever. I got kicked in the balls once. I mean, it's just I kind of that.
That sounds like
start wearing a cup.
It hurts. Yeah, I felt like I should wear a cup after that. And then I say to myself, this is just not it's not gonna happen. And so
how are you guys handling things with things that have been? Are you guys open? Like, are businesses open?
Yeah. I mean, just like everywhere, we were shut down for a while.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate because we weren't allowing tourists in or anything. On top of that, we weren't necessarily allowed out of our houses, and so we had stay-at-home orders as well. And so it was a little rough, but we still had the right to go to, the store to pick up food. We can go down to the beach and go right into the ocean. We couldn't sit up on the beach or anything like that. HPD, DLNR guys were giving out citations for that. I think like 99 or 98% of those citations were actually tossed out by the courts here in Hawaii. And so by the district courts here in Hawaii. And so it was a little rough, but in comparison to the mainland, I don't think we had it nearly as bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy. I mean, we're the county that I'm in, actually, the sheriff made it public, stated, was like, you know what, like, we're not going to come out because people aren't wearing masks. Like, use your own discretion. If you want to stay home, but don't call us for, people not wearing masks or, what's going on. We have enough things going on in our agenda that this is not something that you need to be dealing with. Just don't give us a reason to come to your house, or you want to have a get together and a gathering, just don't give us a reason to come to your house, right? Like, that
sounds about right. I mean, if you think of it this way, even if departments or cities or states or whatever, if they were to receive some kind of federal funding for that, cool. But should they have to go out and start enforcing that kind of stuff? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why it's there, and I agree with it to a certain extent. But I also disagree with people getting citations for parking on the side of the road, sitting in their car, eating a sandwich when they're supposed to be home. It's like, this person's inside their car by themselves, not breathing on anyone. The only time they had a problem is when you try to knock on their window and give them a citation for sitting in their car.
That's you.
Right. That is not me, because I would never do something like that.
No, I'm saying, like, you're eating the sandwich. You're the guy eating the
sandwich.
I
would be the guy sitting there. I'd be the guy sitting there eating a sandwich, minding my business with my windows up.
Can of soup.
Or a can of soup, because I eat soup straight out of the cans, and so you don't need to heat it. And
you take it out of your trunk and just...
I take it out of my trunk, and I do that a lot.
So I have to ask, what soup do you eat that you can just eat it right out of the can and it's still good?
All soups, Campbell's. Progresso? I mean, what kind of question is that?
I mean, it just doesn't sound like that's very tasty. Like, I think about, like, some chicken noodle soup. I'm just gonna open it and eat it. Like, all right, I guess
mean, you could.
You gotta go for the hungry man. You know, the chunky.
Yeah, you gotta get the chunky soup. Chunky soup.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's all. I guess it is already cooked. I guess, but I just okay.
It is. I mean, it's ready to eat.
Cool. That's actually a great idea. I never even thought about that. Like,
if you want to get some botulism, you could.
Yeah. Okay.
Eat a can of soup that isn't cooked. It's entirely up to you. It's up to you. And so I do it on occasion because I have to, and I have no time to eat, and I'm just like, I'm either gonna eat a can of soup or a bag of fucking pistachios. You know.
There you go. All right, fair enough.
But yeah, so in terms of the shutdown, it was kind of rough. But again, I don't think we had it nearly as bad as you guys in California or anywhere on the mainland. So I think we kind of lucked out.
It was pretty much. I mean, was it a lot of people who were getting these citations or being outside, or was it just like most people were being compliant? Most people were just staying at home, chilling,
Most people were being compliant, but I mean, there's probably tens of thousands of citations that went out.
Oh, that many! Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and so man, that's kind of a lot. I mean, you think about. I mean, I know that Hawaii isn't that big, so
it's not.
Seems like a pretty good number.
I'm pretty sure it was in the 5 digits.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I even heard news articles of like hotel staff ratting people out who weren't doing the quarantine.
You can get arrested. It's insane. But wow. I mean, the quarantine, I think back when the pandemic first started, somewhat necessary. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks after I shook this senator's hand at work one day. And so I found out in the news that he had COVID. Found out in the news.
Wow.
Yeah. I was doing a follow-up at this bank for this forgery case, and I saw him there. I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Shook his hand. He didn't tell me that he was sitting in the bank waiting for urgent care next door. Oops. Because he had symptoms. I know.
Okay.
And so I call him the day that I see it on the news. I'm just like, how you feeling? You feeling all right? Everything good? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. So just found out you had COVID. And I had to go home. And I tell my boss, I was like, hey, man, I got to go home. And I had this new guy with me that I took out on the road with me. And I was like, he probably has to go home too. And so we had to sit in our houses for 2 weeks straight last March. And yeah,
what did you do for those 2 weeks?
Did you end up getting sick?
No, I didn't get sick. I was fine.
Okay.
I was okay. I just shook the guy's hand and had a conversation with him for like 5 minutes. But for 2 weeks, yeah, I was living with my then girlfriend at the time, and I was going nuts. It was just like, because she was home working from home as well. And it was just constant, like just nonstop, won't leave me alone. I'm trying to sit here.
That's the flip side to like the dangers of like forcing people to stay home, because there's there's all types of bad shit that happens.
Guess the bad shit that happened that was on the rise. Domestic violence cases.
Oh, really? I heard that, I did hear about that. Even out
Think
here
about
too.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Domestic violence cases, more house calls for X, Y, and Z, in home, whatever.
Even in Hawaii?
Yeah. That kind of stuff is obviously going to be on a rise because people are home more and they probably drive each other crazy. Now, personally, I never did any of that. Right? And she never did any of that fun stuff to me. And so, but it was just very annoying. Really annoying. But I live by myself now, which is kind of nice. And so, yeah, it's pretty legit.
So you're a free man. You're on the market, huh?
No. I mean, I'm dating someone, but I'm living alone for the first time in 35 years.
Pretty and he's still rocking the Mr. Bean shirt. So
I still got the bean, baby. It's all about the bean. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad it's finally winding down. It feels like it's winding down, and so everyone's getting vaccinated, and yeah, it's nice.
Oh, I'm gonna do like a cop movie or something, and then he said like, "Well, yeah, you look good, but you're too damn skinny. Real cops wouldn't be that skinny. Yeah, you need to gain like 50 pounds.
We're all fat asses. We're all fat asses. That's why. I mean, guess what we had at work today? We had a whole bunch of donuts at work. I mean,
oh, that's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So Yeah. I had some donuts at work.
What are you pushing now? What, like 210, 220?
I'm about like 200, 205.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not overweight, but I could probably lose 30 pounds and cut down.
How tall are you?
Like 5'10".
And you're a beef eater.
Yeah. Who doesn't enjoy a good steak? What happened?
And pistachio eating and soup drinking and.
That's right. Hook me up to a freaking IV already. Nah. But yeah. You got to be a little fat. The skinny ones, they scare me a little bit because I'm just like, I feel like you're gonna get blown away in the wind. Like their duty belt, their duty belt might weigh more than they do. Yeah. It's like I sneeze, I chew, and he's gone. But yeah, gain some weight, go to the gym.
Yeah, you do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, being down to one, I wouldn't want to be at 160 right now. That'd be fucking insane. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Juice. The juice was unreal. The juice. You get the juice. Maybe get like a little snack at the bar sometimes. They had like the munchies or whatever, and then you go hang out with some penguins.
Like South African penguins, so they're
South African penguins. Yeah. They're just loving it for some reason. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I would tell my friends like, I would go to the gym all the time at like 12, 1 in the morning because there wouldn't be 100 fucking people there. There'd be this like one old toothless dude that would work a 24-hour every fucking night, and awesome dude. But I used to love going there at night, and it was great. I got the best workouts ever. And sometimes hit the ocean afterwards, and during the day, hit the ocean. We can walk down the street, chill, cruise, kick it. Not caring.
I was there for 3-4 days, with my wife or my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife. And we did the whole like rent a car, loop around, go hike waterfalls, do the pineapple thing. No, and this was, I don't know, it was 8 years ago, I think. Hotel was maybe a couple blocks from the water, which is great.
Yeah.
And the food was awesome. It was, we learned that nobody's really rushing to do anything there, right? So like when you're done eating or you're ready to order, it's like they get to you when they get to you, when they decide to get to you. Because like we're used to like, people showing up. Oh, you're here. What do you want? What can I get you? Okay, I'll be right back. Come back. Boom, out, cranking, and then we were sitting there going, "Does anybody gonna come take our order? Because we do want to order. Like we're just sitting here." I think
maybe you just went to a shitty restaurant.
Oh, is that what that was?
Maybe you just went to a shitty restaurant.
Hey, Chris, how is that in juxtaposition? Because like you're a Philly guy originally, so like how do you go from a Philly guy to like, oh, what else?
You were one of the first people I met out there. How do you think I did it?
Keep coming back.
I just kept coming back. I mean,
do you have what was it, island fever? Is that what it's called? Where like you feel like you got to get off, you got to get out, like not be there anymore.
Yeah, I get that a lot nowadays. Back in the day when I first met Austin, I mean, I never wanted to leave, but now it's like I've been here. I first came out in 2004. And so it's going, what, for like 17 years already. And I knew, I know, right? Crazy.
Wow,
17 years.
Dude. No
it's gonna
way.
It's gonna be 17 years in May. I think it was
now,
like
that's how long you've been there, but you've been coming back and forth for a while.
Well, I mean, as soon as I set foot on island, I was like, that's it.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, I'm moving here. And Austin and our friend Tommy, and Mel, they didn't believe me for a second. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna come back next summer, and I did. Pretty awesome. And then I came back again, and then I graduated college, and But my thing was like, I'm just gonna go back home for 9 months out the year, and then come back to Hawaii every single time. And I did, and it was different. Like, I mean, it was the first time in my life I ever saw the ocean, and it was actually blue. You know? Yeah. I mean, you guys have that in California, but
every day.
Every
Almost,
day. Yeah. But back at home, it's like, you know, you go down to the Jersey Shore, it's gray, it's nasty. You put your hand in the water, and disappears within like 2-3 inches. And I got bright hands. Look at how bright my hands are.
Put it in the water.
You are a little white. So you're a little white for someone who lives on the island.
I am. Yeah, I got some melanoma back in 19.
Oh, okay.
Right here. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, you haven't lived until you got your face cut off and you were awake. It kind of sucks. But
a lot of sun.
Yeah, a lot of sun. And so, I mean, Austin knew me back in the day. I was dark. I had long, curly, stupid hair, and it was blonde. You know,
I feel a picture coming in.
Yeah, right. Please don't. But it was like it was blonde, and it was awesome, and I loved being out in the sun. I would never sunbathe because that was dumb. It was a waste of time. But I liked being outside and hitting the ocean and just hanging out. And you know, up until a couple years ago, I was super broke and I couldn't afford sunblock, so melanoma.
Wow.
And so yeah, I try to stay as white as possible. You know, when I'm out in the ocean, I'm always trying to wear a rash guard now.
Oh yeah,
dude, how did you know you had melanoma?
I saw this black dot on my face just pop up, and then I'm dumb, so I tried to scratch it off, and then it just came back. And I went to the doctor. I was like, "Hey man, like this is kind of weird." I was like, "Could you just biopsy it and let me know?" He's like, "Oh, it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like anything." And I was sitting there. I remember I was fighting with him for about 10 minutes. And then I got the call at work, and there was dermatologist like, "Oh, hey, you know, we're just calling to set up an appointment." And I was like, "Why? What are you talking about?" And it's like, "Oh, we don't know why. We were just told to set up an appointment with you." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then about 5 minutes later, my primary doctor called. He was like, "Oh, yeah, well, it came back as melanoma." And then he said, "My bad." And I almost crushed my phone. Yeah, he said,
"Are you kidding me?"
Quote, "My bad." And I was at work, and I almost crushed my phone. I was so mad. And I was like, "You told me it was nothing." And I almost believed you. And I'm glad I didn't believe the guy. And so it was one of those things, and I asked the surgeon, like right before he cut it out of my face. They had to do it twice. I was like, "Hey man, just double check." And it's like, what would have happened if I would have listened to Dr. Al? It's like, "Oh, it would have spread." Yeah. And so for a little dot about the size of a ballpoint pen, they had to cut about that much.
No way.
Out of my face. Yeah. So the scar is kind of big. And so what they do,
wow,
they cut it in kind of like a diamond, right? So that they can close it like that. And so it was interesting, but you know, they completely numbed my face, but you can hear, since it's right next to my ear, you can hear everything. And then they cauterize it. They shoot a fucking laser into your face to stop the bleeding. Yeah. And so you could smell your face being burnt. Subcutaneously, of course, but
oh man,
wow,
yeah, kind of shitty. So wear copious amounts of sunblock, and hats. Have you seen?
My wife tells me all the time. She's like, "Oh, it's sunblock," and I'm like,
sunblock and hats.
Predisposition too.
Yeah,
you have to watch out for that.
I took a 23andMe, Irish, English. I found out I was German, French. I knew I was mostly Italian, so just a European mutt. And I'm fair skinned. And so it was, you know, to have it happen at what? I think I was 33, 34, whatever. 33. Yeah, it sucks. And so, yeah, if you guys ever have any random spots show up wherever, get that shit biopsied and checked. If they say no, tell them to fuck off. Do it anyway, or have someone else do it.
Yeah.
You know? It's just not worth it. This is not worth it. I still feel like I'm not like in the clear. I know it's weird, but I still feel like I'm not in the clear.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they check? Are the only way? Is the only way that they can check that through a biopsy, or?
Well, I mean, visually, yeah, but visually to him it looked fine. Visually to me, it didn't look fine. And so, but I'm not a doctor, and so usually some people will just agree with their doctor, but that doctor to me is just a lazy fuck. And so, maybe he just didn't want to numb my face and cut my face that day. I don't know. Me, I don't give a shit. If I have a scar on my face, I don't care.
Yeah. That's a small price to pay.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. And typical Kaiser Permanente, you know, they send me to the plastic surgery department, but you can still see this thick ass scar. And so it's yeah, it's one of those things you have to.
I really can't see it a lot. No, I mean, I'm sure you look at it all the time, but like me looking at it right there, I really don't. I don't see a big.
Yeah, yeah, it's there though. It's probably about like this big. Probably,
I'm sure it's much more noticeable to you than.
Yeah, yeah. But I had a suspect I was taking into custody notice at once, and she was probably like 19, 20 years old. And she's straight up, she's like, what, did you have skin cancer before? And I was like, how the fuck did you know? Yeah.
Whoa.
And she's like, oh, you know, my so-and-so had the same thing. And it was like right on your face. And I was like, it's like, good on you, kid. Good on you. And so, yeah, so just be your own advocate, please. And don't let doctors push you around. And if they say no, just tell them that you want it to happen. If you have any freaking doubt that you're in any way sick at all, just be your own advocate. Get a second opinion or a third, you know?
A lot of people do that. It's you know, that's good advice, definitely, because I mean, doctors sometimes think that they know it all, and one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of doctors. I never really have been. My whole family really isn't really big into doctors, just because we always find that just not that we know more than them. It's just they just have this way of thinking they know more than everybody. And
yeah, I mean, and I work with lawyers all the time, and they think they're the shit just because they went to school. Just because you got an education doesn't mean that you're fucking intelligent. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things where, I know doctors, for the most part, they know their shit, but they're humans too, and they're lazy. Just like I'm lazy sometimes, right? I try not to be lazy when it comes to my job. If I'm getting paid for something, I'm not going to be lazy. But some people are. Well, and doctors, I mean, they're just like everyone else.
How long you been an officer?
What happened?
How long you been an officer?
I've been a Dep sheriff for about going on 7 years in June.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 years.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of wild.
Do you like that movie Super Troopers?
No.
Fuck yeah, I love Super. I went to see it. I went to see part 2 in theaters. I got the little poster and I brought it into the office. I was like, hey guys, let's hang this shit up. We got the smoky hats and everything. It's great.
No.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That movie is awesome, man.
No.
That movie is Broken Lizard. Those guys are hilarious.
Now they have this like True TV fast food show where they like make people like pick their best like fast food. So like KFC.
Taco Bell, obviously.
Taco Bell, chalupa, right? And then they have 3 chefs that have to like recreate that food. And then who does the best? And then like they were like, oh yeah, this tastes the most like KFC chicken. This tastes the most like whatever, potatoes.
I would kill it with Taco Bell. I go there at least once a week. I mean, I know the whole fucking menu. Fuck it, yeah, it's great. There's a reason, if you watch Demolition Man, Taco Bell is the only fucking restaurant to make it. Because it's epic. It's amazing.
It's cool. It's real process.
Now, if I go to Taco Bell and these sons of bitches give me one nacho with a squiggle of fucking cheese on the plate, I'm going to be pissed off. Yeah. Yeah, just like Yeah. The day will come out and just be like, what the fuck?
Hey, I straight told Preston to make the most of your dollar at Jack in the Box with the 99-cent chicken sandwich. You never had it before because they don't have it in Philly, right? And then you came to Hawaii and you're like, 99-cent chicken sandwich.
Done.
But you gotta order it with extra lettuce and extra tomato. So you get extra vegetables, and they don't even usually have a tomato. So if you say extra, we'll just add it on there for free. You don't have to pay 50 cents or 30 cents upgrade.
Like, oh, can we get extra that? And they're like, oh yeah, extra.
So I had this thing back in the day, like get what I call the lineup, and the lineup consisted of like anywhere from like 6 to 10 Jack in the Box tacos, 2 or 3 junior bacon cheeseburgers with lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, like a 7-piece jalapeno popper, copious amounts of freaking buttermilk ranch. And by the time I was done my personal meal, the mound of just trash would be as high as my fucking laptop.
What?
You top it off
great.
with an Oreo cookie shake?
Nah. I didn't fuck with the sweet stuff over there. I actually haven't had dinner, and Jack in the Box sounds like a great idea right now. So,
Better than your pistachios right now. Oh, my bad, dude.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, man, it was, dude, our time that first summer was epic. It was epic. It was so good.
I told him about the dorms.
Yeah.
Dorms.
Dorm.
I took over the hotel of the Ohana.
The Ohana West, yeah. Do you remember that night? Do you remember? Because the last thing I remember, Austin, is putting a glass of tequila up to my face. And literally, like, I remember the glass going to my face, and then I blacked out, and I woke up in my bed, blood all over the place, and apparently I puked in my sleep. And there's blood all over my hotel door because I was still staying. Yeah. And so Mel was super nice. Like, you know, apparently she just walked me back to the hotel, which it was only 2 blocks away from their apartment. Walked me back to the hotel. And I just kept falling all over the place, and I like cut up my shoulder. And I guess I was like trying to key in to my door, and my shoulder was all over the door. And so there's just smears of blood all over the fucking hotel door. Looked like someone got murdered. Right. Do you remember that?
Dude. And then smears.
Smears. Blood. Yeah. And yeah, I'm sitting there, and I wake up, and I guess we had a lot of guacamole that night because my puke was green. And it was in my bed, and it was awful. And I was sitting there. I was like, there's blood and green shit. I felt like I was having a fucking Christmas party in my bed. It was terrible. And so I know. And so I go out to the cleaning lady because this lady would come by every day and ask if we wanted our sheets changed. And I would always like, no, like maybe once a week, like it's all good. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm not living in a hotel. It's a fucking dorm room for me. But I was like, hey, can I have some sheets? And she's like, oh, no. Like little Filipino lady, super nice. She's like, oh, no, I'll change it for you. I was like, no, you don't have to do that. And she goes into the blood door. And I'll never forget it. She just stands there and she like looks at it. And she like looks over. She's like, what happened? And I was like, yeah, I just rolled in some grass and I cut up my shoulder. And that's why it's all green. And I like ripped the sheets off the bed. And I was like, here you go. And I was like, I'll do it for you. Like, you don't have to. And she just didn't really say much after that. She probably knew what happened. It's like, hey, you probably almost died in your sleep by choking on your own puke.
I changed a lot of shit. I know what this one is.
I mean, she's probably seen some shit. She was older. She's probably worked in hotels for like 20, 30 years or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
This was probably just another day for her.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have a bunch of dumb 18, 19-year-old cops. I was like 18, 19 years old at the time. You know, the cops didn't come up to our room. I didn't get kicked out of that hotel for 3 months. I mean, it must have worked, but that
for
first summer, yeah, that first summer was definitely That was a good time. Second summer was even better. And then, met Pascal and Shiho that lived like in my building and everything. And that summer was epic. A lot of German people. So I think, Austin, you were there for that summer, and then the summer after that, you must have graduated, I think.
2005.
Yeah, you weren't there for my 06 summer when I was out there. I think you moved back to California. And so, those two. Yeah, fucking sucks, man. I hate growing up. Wish I was still a Toys R Us kid.
I hate it.
It's pretty awful. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Or being like a Peter Pan, what is it, Lost Boys?
Yeah, that'd be great, but that son of a bitch grew up in Hook and no one recognized him. You know what I'm saying? the bastard couldn't even fucking fly. And what a letdown for Peter Pan. But one of the better Peter Pan movies. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. But it's a good couple summers, but can't be a kid forever. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to grow up sometime, I guess. I don't know. I still feel like I'm a kid somewhat. But I mean,
I have a kid and I have to act like a kid because I have a kid. So I gotta like play with them like a kid and play on the playground and play dinosaurs and Lego. And, I still like, I'm like, oh, it's cool. You want to play Lego? Let's sit down and build some blocks. Like,
it's kind of nice. And then you could watch cartoons and not feel weird about it,
pretty
Rick and Morty.
Moana's hot. Yeah. Have you seen Moana? Oh my gosh.
Moana's a good movie. I like Moana. It's a good movie. It is.
I like Coco.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. Up is a good one. Over the Hedge. Like that one.
Up.
Yeah, Up.
Man,
that was a tearjerker, that one. But yeah, I mean, I love watching cartoons and stuff I still like acting like a kid every now and then, but fuck. I'm gonna be 36 in a couple months.
When's your birthday again?
5th of July.
That's right. Oh, I remember. Oh, always. We'd always celebrate.
On the 4th, yeah, we would always.
And then the 4th would turn to the 5th. My bad.
2 days. It was just 2 days apart.
It was pretty much
the whole weekend.
nonstop. It was nonstop. It was
4th of July in Hawaii is, I think, the best holiday they have out of the whole island. For me, I love fire. I love like fireworks and.
Yeah, I mean, I remember walking down the cement walkway right near the outrigger, close to like Fort de Rusi. And you would be like throwing fucking firecrackers at people. It was hilarious. I was there, I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this shit. I was like, yo, you got
couples are kissing in like a romantic sunset, and I'm like, whoa.
And then you have a string of fucking Chinese fireworks setting off right next to them. It was great. It was awesome. That was a good time. Wow. But honestly, I think the best holiday out on Oahu, at least, is Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You're right.
Halloween is the best. Pre-COVID, it was at least a couple weeks worth of parties. Like, you would have something in downtown. On Halloween night, you would always have Waikiki. House parties.
Dude, it's better than IV in Santa Barbara. Isle Vista.
It really is. Like, 4th of July is great. You get to see a whole line of fireworks, basically, from Waikiki through Ala Moana all the way down to Ewa Beach. But, I mean, the best party of the year is probably Halloween. And then New Year's. I mean, nowadays, since aerials are illegal, everyone has aerials.
No way.
So, aerials are illegal. Like, years ago. But if you drive on H1 during New Year's, it's insane. Like, if you drive basically from Salt Lake down to the end of H1 on Waianae side, it is the best fireworks show you'll probably ever see. Because everyone from those neighborhoods, like especially Waipahu side, I don't know why Waipahu side has so many freaking fireworks, but it's like a war zone almost.
I love it.
It's nuts. You have to look up when you guys can look up fireworks in Hawaii on New Year's, and you'll see like it's nuts. It's absolutely insane. all over the place. Every single neighborhood, someone is lighting illegal fireworks, and there's not a damn thing the cops can do about it. Yeah, if you're dumb enough to blow your fucking hand off, I mean, come on, you know?
It's a risk you take, Violet. Yeah,
a risk you take.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm about to say, if you're also dumb enough to set someone's fucking house on fire, it's your fault. You should go to jail. But if someone wants to set off a firecracker, who cares?
Absolutely.
Let them. I'm all about it. But then again, I don't have kids. I don't have a dog. And so, yeah. I mean, some people...
You got pistachios.
There are definitely some people...
You know? And so, I mean, for me, I'm not single anymore, but I'm not tied down to marriage or a kid or anything like that. And so, when it comes to that, all I have to do is worry about waking up the next morning for work, and I usually don't work on the 1st of January. So, you know,
like you.
Yeah, not too bad.
Is weed legal in Hawaii?
Medically, yeah, you can get a medical marijuana card.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you have to register.
Are they looking at making it legal?
I hope so.
Like, yeah.
I mean, federally, it's still a Schedule I drug, which is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
What are other Schedule I drugs, just to remind people?
Hard shit. Weed is still on that list, from what I know. Schedule I, marijuana, heroin, LSD, ecstasy, magic mushrooms. Schedule II, okay, cocaine, Schedule II. Weird.
Wow.
Schedule III, Tylenol, codeine, ketamine, anabolic steroids, testosterone. Schedule IV, Xanax, Valium, Ambien.
Wow.
And so, as far as I know, Schedule I drugs are like the worst. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure about that. But I mean, if you're putting marijuana and heroin in the same schedule.
No way. Are you serious? Federally, it's still Schedule I?
Wow.
Federally, marijuana is still Schedule I, and it's in the same schedule as heroin. Now, Schedule II, they're saying cocaine, meth. I'm reading it right now. I just brought it up a second ago. Cocaine, meth, oxycodone, Adderall, Ritalin, Vicodin. Schedule II. But you're putting marijuana in the same league as heroin. That's insane.
Do you get a lot of calls, weed related, people smoking or whatever? Or
no, but if I do, I'll just be like, do you have your card? Oh yeah, you do? Okay, great. Have a good day. And if you don't, well, still have a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Very crazy.
I actually didn't really know that.
I think in the state of Hawaii, it's still illegal. You have to have a card for it. It's an arrestable offense, or you can just give them a court citation. You know, if they I feel like if they have a bunch of weed, then yeah, you give them a court citation, whatever. But someone should not be arrested for weed. It's weed.
Different topic, my bad. But I just wanted to make sure I got this one in. According to you, like what constitutes the perfect Philly cheesesteak sandwich?
Yeah.
Like, is it the bread? Is it the type of bread? Is it the cheese?
You gotta have good bread.
Like what?
Good. Like a hoagie roll bread, you know? If you make a cheesesteak and you go down the store and get some fucking Wonder Bread, it's not gonna work. You know? You have to have a good hoagie roll. You have to have good steak, good cheese. I'm not a big fan of Swiss. Should never be on a cheesesteak. Caramelized onions, grilled onions. All the other stuff like mushrooms and peppers and stuff. I never understood people put that kind of shit on it. But I mean, I like mine with American. I like mine with Cheese Whiz. I think American.
Cheese Whiz.
Yeah,
Cheese
I think
Whiz?
American. Cheese Whiz. I know it sounds crazy. But I love American cheese on my steak. It's great. And you can't get good steak sandwiches out here anywhere. I've tried. They had this Ono cheesesteak down in Waikiki. And I saw this dumb son of a bitch put fucking this canola oil or something. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I almost wanted to stop him. It's like, listen, the fat in the steak is going to cook itself. Stop. You know? What?
It's probably pretty delicious, huh?
No, it was awful.
It was Ono?
It was not Ono. No, it was not. It was what is the opposite of fucking Ono?
What's Ono?
It's terrible. That means just delicious in Hawaii. Or in Hawaiian,
okay.
but or Olelo or whatever. But you get what I'm saying? It was just like, it's good that you tried, but imagine going to a poke shop in Philly. It's just not going to work. They're probably going to get some. They're probably going to get some nasty fucking catfish out of the Delaware River, and you know what I'm saying? You get some nasty ass catfish in Delaware River that has probably fed on whatever, and and you, what the hell are you going to? What Philadelphia delicacies are you going to season it with? The seaweed from the Delaware, the Schuylkill, like. I mean. It's the same thing. It's like those guys attempting poke in Philly. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. So valiant attempt. They lasted maybe 2 years, I think, and then they were done. And so,
what are the two? There's like two people that are always like vying for like I'm better in Philly. For like I make the original Philly. What are those guys?
You're probably talking about down to South Philly.
You're North Philadelphia. Like
I'm
Will Smith.
I'm Northeast. No. Will Smith is West Philly. South Philly. They have Pat's and Geno's right across the street from each other. It's a tourist.
Yes.
And they're good, but I mean, growing up, I would always go to this place, Old London and New Station, and one was right around the corner from my house, and the other one was probably like 2-3 blocks away from my house. And I mean, for me, I feel like they had the best cheesesteaks. But I like going down the Pat's Geno's side just because it's just like I could do it when I was in college at like 3 a.m. because it'd be the only place that'd be open.
Well, where would you go out of those two?
Oh, Pat's. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to know.
I mean, Geno's like, they season their steak, and you don't need to do that. Just, I mean, for me, that's my personal preference. And Geno's got super flashy, and they got like neon signs and shit. And it's just, Pat's is just like, here's a storefront with an old school sign from like the 70s, and our steaks are still better. And they are. I think they're better, but I prefer my old neighborhood steaks over anywhere else. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
I see you wiping your mouth.
That's a good idea. I should get one of those.
Bro, really?
Eat to win?
Eat to win. Fuck. You've never had this?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's either filled with beer or green tea, because green tea is the best.
It constantly breaks down the fats. So like in China, they'll always have like a thermos with green tea, and they just drink that all day. Fill it with water. It's not just water. It'll have like green tea leaves. That breaks down all the fats. So that's like a huge, huge thing that people don't even do here that like can help you every day.
Green tea, huh?
Green tea, yeah. It's the only caffeine I can really have. So
interesting.
Yeah.
But literally, that's why like Szechuan. I think Szechuan food is like the oily, spicy region. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that they'll do a lot of green tea to break that, to counter.
I love the Szechuan sauce from McDonald's. As soon as they brought it back because of Rick and Morty, I almost shat myself. I could not believe. I could not believe that Rick and Morty actually got McDonald's to bring back that delicious sauce, because it really was delicious, and I still remember it from back in the day. I still remember that from back in like in the late 90s. Like, I was like, this is not barbecue sauce, and I'm eating with my McDonald's French fries anymore. And then for some reason, I guess I didn't realize it as a child that some promotional things like that don't last forever. And I was very upset when I went back to McDonald's like one day, and I still remember I was like, you guys don't have any fucking Szechuan sauce left?
Do you know about that, Preston?
No, I never even heard of it. Never even heard of it. No idea.
So yeah, so Mulan came out in like the late 90s. And I guess McDonald's was trying to be, they were promoting the movie and they had this Szechuan sauce, and it's just, it kind of reminds me of, Austin, you might be able to agree with me on this one.
All
it
right.
kind of reminds me of hoisin.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It has those taste buds, those undernotes of hoisin. Absolutely.
It does. It kind of reminds me of have you ever had a hoisin sauce from like if you go to like a Vietnamese restaurant?
Yep. I add it to my soup all the time.
I have a bottle of it in my fridge. It's delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of that, and I would just be like, fuck barbecue sauce and ketchup with my McDonald's fries. I'm gonna bang out some freaking Szechuan sauce, and I would always ask for extra sauces. And then the sons of bitches did away with it until that one episode of Rick and fucking Morty, where they're trying to trick Rick to give, like the aliens are trying to trick Rick to give them like how he developed his portal gun or whatever. And he's in their mind and they're in his mind trying to figure out how he, figured out the portal gun. And he takes them to McDonald's. He takes his fucking alien to McDonald's, and they order a bunch of chicken McNuggets with Szechuan sauce. And McDonald's, the episode was so good that McDonald's actually came out with Szechuan sauce again. I think it was for like a month or two.
Yeah, it became pop culture.
Yeah, it was great. And I saved one in my fridge for like 6 months. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking eat this. And I got drunk one night, and of course I ate it. And I like the next day, I was really upset. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't have any more Szechuan sauce probably for the rest of my life. So, yeah, it was pretty awful. But it was good. It was a good idea at the time.
It definitely. That moment when you decided to eat it, I thought it was really delicious.
It was the best thing that you could put on French fries. It really was. I don't know what kind of magic they put in that little container of sauce, but it was.
My thing right now, my wife's ours is Chick-fil-A sauce from Chick-fil-A.
We don't have Chick-fil-A out here, unfortunately.
Oh man, it's right around the corner. I mean, it's twice a week. They got the Chick-fil-A, they got the waffle fries, they got the chicken strips, the spicy chicken sandwich, and they got the Chick-fil-A sauce. It's like
nuggets.
You dip your stuff into that, and oh my gosh! And then they have a new, it's like a honey barbecue or something like that.
Fuck, that sounds amazing. I don't understand. Speaking of chicken, I don't understand how people died getting the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
No.
Did you hear about? Yeah. This one guy got stabbed to death waiting in line because someone like cut in front of him, or he cut in front of someone else. He got stabbed to death or some shit. Standing in line at a Popeyes waiting for that super popular chicken sandwich, which I think, based off of, my fast food experiences, it's okay.
Was it the last one or something?
No. You guys don't remember this? Like over a year ago, before pre-pandemic, when like the Popeyes chicken sandwich was like the shit, and people were standing in line. And I would have
to dispute that. I think it's more than okay.
No, I mean, it's good. It's not
it's
okay.
Good.
It's good, but it's not okay to be stabbed over.
No.
It's not that.
It's not that fucking good. Where I'm just like, I'm gonna cut in front of this dude who possibly has a knife and get stabbed and killed over a fucking chicken sandwich. Like, can you imagine going to the pearly gates and St. Peter's like, hey Chris, what are you doing here? I got stabbed over a fucking chicken sandwich. What do you say to that?
I guess we got a Catholic
was it
here.
The Popeyes chicken sandwich?
The Popeyes chicken sandwich. You would probably say Popeye, and no, I'm not Catholic, but I'm actually not that religious. But
what's up with like Milton Hershey School? I've always wanted to ask you about that school, and I've always been curious. It's like Milton Hershey, the candy bar, right?
Yeah, so him and his wife couldn't have kids. And so, and he came from nothing. Like, his family didn't have anything. And he brought himself up working in, like, candy stores and such as a kid. And then he decided that he wanted to make candy, so he started his caramel company. And so I guess the caramels that he made were pretty good, and it was working. And then he started his chocolate company, but he kept failing over and over and over again. And he got loans and shit from his family. And then he finally made it. But he married this chick, Catherine, and they couldn't have kids, so they started the school. And it was all his wife's idea. So before he died, I think he gave, and this is back in like the 30s, I think. Yeah, the 30s. So he started in 1909, and then in the 30s he gave like his entire fortune to the school. It was like $40 million.
Wow.
In the 40s, which is a lot of money. And now the school's worth, I think, 10 to 15 billion.
Wow.
It has a bigger endowment than most post-secondary institutions. So they're smart with their money. They're smart with their investments. They stick to the deed of trust, and they expand when they're able to expand. And they try to get as many kids in there as possible now. I mean, my graduating class had about I'd say 110 students, and I think now the average graduating class is around 200. And so,
wow,
it's expanded a lot, which is good. I don't know if it's going to have the same, feeling that it did back when I was there, because everyone knew everyone, because we all lived together, and we all went to school together. We all had sports together. We all hung out on the weekends, hung out at the house. And so, I mean, it's getting bigger and better. And I frankly, it's kind of a toss up between Milton Hershey and Kamehameha schools. I think those are probably the two best educational institutions in the country, in terms of services, in terms of what they provide for their students. So
interesting.
It started in 2009, and it started out essentially just for boys. So it was a boys' school, and then it turned into a girls' school in like the 70s or something like that.
Sure.
They do have a lot of the same in terms of administrative and educational structure that Milton Hershey has. And so they're very closely related in terms of their endowment and all that fun stuff. And I think, their Kamehameha schools, their admissions is probably just as rigorous. I don't know. I never went there. I never worked there, so I'm not exactly sure. But Milton Hershey was great. Everything was free. Living was free. School was free. Medical free. Dental was free. Give you a laptop when you graduate. They send you to college anywhere I wanted to go for free. All I had to do was HBU, yeah, of all fucking schools. Can you believe that shit?
Wow, and this brings us together.
Yeah, I mean, I decided to stay home and go to Villanova, and then I got accepted to HBU as well at the same time, and I was like, I'm just going to go there during the summertime. And so my high school sent me there, and all I had to do was take 3 classes and not mess up, not fail them. And I'd be able to keep my scholarship. And they spent a lot of money on me because I was in school technically 3 weeks after I graduated high school. And so does the school just work off of donations then? No, so they get their money primarily from investments, and then they have a large stake in the Hershey Company.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
So we're all still really close. And you know, homecoming is a big deal because we're actually going home. And so I go back, I see my house parents, I see a lot of my classmates, and it's wild. It's a good time. And so we're all getting together in July again. And so I'm flying out to New York for my friends, my classmates' memorial. And it's a very like tight-knit kind of thing, you know. It's not like college. College is like, for some people it's tight-knit, but you know, a boarding school, a live-in boarding school is just, it's different. I mean,
well, absolutely,
yeah, it's different. And so I was there for about 3 years. I always told myself if I was there any longer, I probably would have got kicked out. In all honesty, because the rules, I'm telling you, like I really felt like the shackles were off, the handcuffs were off when I graduated, because the rules, they were just incredibly overbearing.
What kind of rules would you?
I mean, think of your typical high school experience, and that's something that, you know, me and my classmates missed out on. But we had a different high school experience.
Why?
So, well, think of it this way. It's like, you know, you're in high school and, you know, you watch those movies of kids going and having like parties at their parents' house or stuff like that, driving around in cars and stuff like that.
Makeout point.
Yeah, well, yeah, something like that. Yeah, sounds good, Austin. Stuff like that. And so I missed out on the typical high school experience, but I had a pretty good one, you know. And so, but it's just the rules, you know, you're constantly being watched. You know, you have no freedom to go out and do things on your own. But they learned from that, and now they have this thing called transitional living, where they have, I think it started in like 2007 or something like that. And so for me, it kind of goes against the deed of trust, where, you know, you're supposed to have 2 live-in parents, being the house parents in each house for all the kids. And so they're, you know, their senior year, they're able, you know, they'll put a group of kids in there with like, it's called a, what is it called? It's not like a house parent, but it's like a TL advisor that lives in the same house with the kids. So they have more freedom now that, yeah. And so it's not like the typical couple that you have in each student home, where you have like the mother and father figure. Now you just have one person there, just making sure that, you know, they don't set the house on fire. So they have more freedom. You know, they get cars. You know, they have to have, I think from what I know, they have to budget for food and stuff like that. And so they're actually giving them real world experience before they graduate, which I think is essential. But back when I was there, nope. You didn't have any of that freedom to go out and do all the fun stuff a high school kid would want to do. And if you did, you would just get in trouble. So I've gotten suspended a couple of times. I hooked out of the student home once, and I got like 20 days detention, where I had to essentially sit in the house and clean all fucking day. So happens. Yeah.
Clean all day.
It's a real interesting institution. And so, yeah, check it out. It's a good spot. It's a real good spot.
That's why I wanted to highlight it. I think it's so cool. It's like it's an example of how like other institutions could run.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
But it's also very expensive to house a kid, clothe a kid, feed a kid, teach a kid, have medical and dental expenses and all that fun stuff taken care of. I mean, I can imagine it's in the deep 5 figures, probably almost 6. Or,
yeah, but so what grade do you go in at that?
Meal bus babies start. They call them meal bus babies because they start at like kindergarten.
Oh shit!
So it's a K through 12, and so they can start them as young as 5. And they call them meal bus babies because we would have this meal bus that would come around if the house parents were lazy, or if the kids just wanted, you know, food coming from the central kitchen. Almost like a FedEx truck would come around with giant platters of food to feed 14, 15 people. Drop them off in the whatchamacallit, in the cooler, and then just pick them up when it's time to eat. It's all hot, ready. And so, you know, the funny thing is, like, you go there to like kindergarten, they would call you a meal bus baby because the meal bus dropped you off and just, you know, left you. And yeah, so lifers, they call them meal bus babies, lifers, and they start at kindergarten and go all the way up to 12th grade. I had a bunch of kids in my graduating class that were there their entire lives. And yeah, I mean,
But
are a lot of the people who go through this program end up being obviously getting through college and being successful? Like, are they finding that is like a success by doing what they're doing?
Yes and no. I felt like a lot of my classmates, they didn't take advantage of what they earned, what they were given post high school. So a lot of them, they lost their scholarship, which to me is like, I mean, you know, back in the day, room, board, tuition at Villanova was like $45 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I would go to HPU during the summertime, and they would cut me a check for $3,500 each summer, just for living expenses. And then they would pay my tuition. No strings attached. All you had to do was make sure that you got a C average. You had to have a 2.0 GPA. And some of them couldn't hack it. They would
and there's no, so when you say no commitment, like there's nothing there's just once you're done and you graduate and you move on in your life, like there's no.
It's not like you pay that money back.
You're not paying that money back. You don't owe them anything. You're not. I mean, you're just
you don't
part
owe
of the
them.
club.
That's it. That's it. Here's your $200,000 education that you earned because you kept, I think, a 2.5 GPA in high school. Like, I mean, but some of my classmates, it was given to them, so they didn't appreciate it. Me, I appreciate it because I'm sitting there, you know, when I went to Nova, I mean, some of these kids, they're just like, yeah, I'm putting myself through school. And I would see the bill and I'm just like, how the fuck are you doing that? And some of my friends now from college are just paying off their student loans. It's mind blowing. And I've been out of college for almost 14 years already. Wow. And it's just like, I can't imagine living out in Hawaii paying off student loans. It's nuts. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely insane.
Now, my wife, she's in nursing school, and so I mean, she's still got loans from her the first round. But that's amazing. I didn't realize. I had no idea that there was any sort of program like that even existed.
It's there. It's great. The scholarship has changed a little bit. But the continuing education scholarship back when I had it, it was all you had to do was apply for FAFSA, and you get your FAFSA package, and then they take care of the rest if you get FAFSA. And so it was crazy, like, because I would see my bill, my tuition bill or whatever from Nova, and I would just see a big chunk of change being paid for by my high school, and it was insane. And between that and my time there, I mean, you know, it's one of those things I'm forever thankful. I still have my diploma, you know, sitting around. I wore my ring up until a few months ago. It broke again. So it broke on me 4 times already. And this was just like, I don't want to lose it. So I don't wear my high school ring anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, you know, forever grateful for. It was great. In all seriousness, it was a good time. I have lifelong friends that, you know, everyone's like a family, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, I would recommend it to anyone that needs it. You know, the admission standards there is, you know, they take kids from the surrounding counties first in Pennsylvania, and then they branch out. And so it's even harder the further you get out of PA.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, if you know any kids that are in need of that, they don't have parents, they're, you know, living on the streets, whatever, send them to the website.
Yeah.
You know, my school will take care of them. They really will. And they don't have to go home. They can stay year round. They can stay during breaks. If a sponsor wants to take them out, they can take them out. Yeah, it's a good spot.
That's great.
A real good spot. Yeah.
Well, good for you, man. It's awesome that you got that opportunity, because that definitely I never had anything like that, and of course, that was never even on my radar. Of, you know, college was just an expensive thing that you had to do, right? Like just a super expensive thing that you have to do, and then who knows what happens after that.
But the thing is, for me, you know, being through college, and I don't know if Austin told you, but I worked at Hawaii Pacific University for a couple years. I don't think college nowadays is really a necessity. I don't.
I mean, they have. So I was actually talking to Austin about this not too long ago. There's a company out there that you take these online courses and you basically get these certificates. Yeah. And there's companies like Google and Amazon and Facebook, some of these high tech companies will just take that certificate as a degree. Like, come work. You did that. You know how to do this job. Come work.
That's all you need, or a trade. You know,
what was your major?
History and communication. So I majored in ancient Mediterranean history, communication. I got a minor in philosophy and a couple other concentrations. So I have a whole bunch of paper, but useless. Fucking useless. It is. And I'm looking back, and was it a waste? Yes and no. You know, if I paid for it out of pocket, I'd be pissed off for the rest of my life. Because I have a job right now where all you need is a high school degree. And that's it. And it's one of those things, my degree has only really helped me out once. And that's right after I graduated, for about 2 years before I got laid off. And I haven't used my degree in over a decade. And so I think what you were saying is along the lines of what we need to do going forward, right? You know, I shouldn't have to take a fucking math class to graduate. I don't care. You know, what the fuck am I using calculus for? Recalc or whatever. I'm not using it for jack shit. Why the fuck do I have to learn it? Oh, it's how you get there that matters. Like, I don't give a shit. It has nothing to do with my major, right? A nursing student shouldn't have to take a fucking humanities class. They're trying to save lives and weigh basins. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to sit there and figure out, I think, therefore I am. Who fucking cares? Like, those types of prerequisites, it's just another way for universities to make money.
Yeah, my wife had to take a couple classes that there really wasn't any reason that she needed to take them, both math and I think like a chemistry class or something.
Chemistry for nursing, biology for nursing, I can see that as something that you would probably need to take. But if you have to take a history class as a nursing major, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
You know? And so for me, it boils my blood, because, you know, a lot of people in America right now are saying you need to have a college education, you need to have it, when I don't remember 95% of the shit that I learned in my 4 years of going to school. I don't.
Most of the jobs that you end up getting they're going to teach you how to do it anyway, or you're going to learn on the way. Yeah. And if you don't learn it and you don't do a good job, you have to find a different job.
Exactly. So. And you know, I worked in the film industry out here on movies, major television productions, commercials, live events, and such like that. And I see these adverts from like Full Sail, getting a degree in film production is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You know what you need to get into film production? You need a connection, or you need to have balls and just go up to a set, drop them a resume saying, I'm let me be a PA. Go to the AD department and say, hey, I'll go get coffee for the first couple of months of my life here. I don't give a shit. Teach me how film works. Get on the job training instead of going to a university spending $40,000 on a bullshit degree that you might not even land a job. And if you do, you might not even like it. You know what I'm saying? And so if I were to ever have a kid, God forbid, hopefully that doesn't happen. I would not sit there.
We're going to show that video.
Hot bath.
We're taking that. We're going to show your kid that.
Yeah, right. Hot baths. I'm gonna sit in a fucking hot tub every day for the rest of my life and kill my boys.
You know it. Hot baths.
Yeah. But I would never instill in them that getting a bachelor's degree is the thing that you need to do. It's like, if you want to get on the job training at whatever job, if you want to go and pick up a trade, get ahead. If you want to join the military, get ahead. Do it. Why not? You don't have to go to a traditional 4-year college to be successful in life, because most of the people that are super successful billionaires, they never went to school. And if they did, they dropped out because they were like me, where they were just like, this is an utter waste of fucking time. Personally, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I mean, working and going, I worked at both of my universities, full-time at one, and I went to both those universities. And was the education great? Yeah, I got a history degree. What the fuck am I using it for now? It's different if you go and get like a nursing degree or a engineering degree, something like that, where some of the stuff is actually going to be useful in your career. Some, but even
you're a doctor and you tell people, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, or you're a fucking doctor, and you know, you went to undergrad and you went to med school, and this dude shows up to your office with fucking cancer on his face, and you tell him that it's nothing. You obviously wasted your time in fucking med school. Either that or your med school sucks, or you're a lazy piece of shit. Either way. And so, for me, I think it's kind of a touchy subject for me, because I went through that, and don't get me wrong, I had a great time. I didn't have to pay for it. But if the only thing I would change, if I had to choose again, would I still go the same route? I don't know. I probably would have gone in the military. And, you know, maybe do ROTC during college, come out as a commissioned officer, and had a military career, and then retire by the time I'm in my 30s.
All officers have to have a college degree,
College degree, yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you go through ROTC, or, you know, you graduate college, you go to, you know, officer training or something like that. You know, you go to officer training, and then you come out as an officer, and then you kick ass for 20 years, and that's your career. You don't have to put in 25 to 30, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I might do things a bit different if I had the choice again, if I could go back in time. But
there's a few choices I think we all would do a little bit different.
Yeah. That would be one of the big ones. But, you know.
It's funny you see that, because, see, I didn't attend college. I never went. I went straight to work. I started my career basically DJing right out of high school. Actually, in high school, and then once I became, you know, I did some sales. I did corporate thing, and I was only there for a few years. Realized after that was not going to be my path, and then I became a professional disc jockey. Traveled the country, traveled the world, played music, radio, all that stuff. And one of those things, you know, through this path. I mean, I'm 42 now, and I still do it. You know, people still call me and pay me to do that stuff. And one of the things I've always thought about, if I was to do it again, I would go to college. But it's because I didn't do that, right? Like, I didn't do college, so I've always wondered, like, what that would be like to go to college and experience that. And, you know, these stories that I hear people who go to college. But at the same time, I look back and I go, I kind of had a lot of fun. Like, I was, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old, getting free alcohol 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week at bars and clubs. Like,
Why would you want to change that?
I had a great time, you know, like I got paid to play music and just party with people all time, you know, all day long. So, you know,
it's not a bad life.
I don't regret my choice. You know, there would be times I will, you know, there's, you know, I don't regret my choice. You know, it's been a great career, but I get to a point where I'm now, again, I have a kid and a family, and I go, man, are people going to continue to hire me? And is that going to be an issue trying to find a job if I ever had to in 10 years or I don't know, whatever, 20 years?
No, I totally feel you. And, you know, sometimes I regret what I do and sometimes I don't, where I'm just like, would I be the person I am? I like who I am today. You know, I mean,
that's important.
Yeah. Would I be different if I did something different? Probably. If I joined the military, I'd probably be dead because that shit was happening in Iraq and Afghanistan back in the early 2000s. So
yeah, just go in the Air Force and you just fly planes.
Yeah, just fly planes.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't get shot down, you know? And if you do, you're fucked. But you're either going to die in the crash or you're going to die because someone's going to shoot you in the face once you land, you know? And so whatchamacallit? No, I mean, that sounds like a great time in your teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s. I mean, you're obviously good at it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here with us right now. But yeah, I mean, that sounds great, actually.
It's
jealous.
A lot of fun. That's all I mean. I was talking to somebody the other day about, you know, just the career and the path that it was. And it's one of the things, it's almost not like how a police officer sees a side of the world that not many people see. Yeah. Right? You know, there's a lot of things going on that you guys deal with, you know, whether it's regularly or, you know, once in a while, but, you know, you just see things that most people don't experience, you know. And then on my side, it was not that extreme on some of the things you would experience, but just like on the party side, the club side, people, you know, you see, and they have the houses that you go to, and the venues you go to, the places you travel to, and the experiences you get, you know, going to Mexico and playing out the superstar, or being out, hearing your name on the radio, and, you know, just these like things that are just like, that's cool, like that's just some cool shit that you get to like say that you did. You're in a magazine, you're on TV, you're, you know, going attending award shows or whatever, like just different experience, like, you know, that's really awesome and fun, but
not everyone gets to experience that.
Not experience get those experiences. I
mean, would you really want to be in an office job stuck behind a fucking desk? Probably not.
That's why. No, definitely not. No. I mean, the idea of being in Hawaii sounds pretty fucking good, but, you know, I'll take Southern California.
It is. In Southern Cali, like, if I were to move anywhere else in the country, it would either be in California or somewhere on the West Coast. You know, I mean, you guys you do it better than the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast, but I've always liked visiting the West Coast. I mean, I visit the East Coast because I have to. I got friends and family over there. Otherwise, I'd never go back. Maybe to get a sandwich.
My brother-in-law, he's in Indianapolis, and he's trying to convince my wife and I to go to Indianapolis and leave California. You know, and we're like, it's 75 degrees right now. It's clear skies, and they're sending us pictures and videos of it snowing.
Why would you want to be in that?
No, thank you.
Willfully. Why would you want to be in that?
No thanks.
Unless you like playing in the snow every day. No. Absolutely not.
I need some sunshine.
Yeah, I do too. Just covered sunshine. But Preston, this was awesome. It was great talking to you in Austin, but I gotta dip because I gotta eat some fucking dinner.
You gotta go. Yeah, man, I get it.
I have not eaten anything since like 11 o'clock this morning. It's all good. I gotta eat.
Yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Good looking.
But it was great talking to you guys.
I love you, Chris. Thank you so much for talking to us, man.